Welcome everyone to this channel about SimCity BuildIt. This trick explains how to get a lot of Simoleons, the current SimCity coin. My name is Atlantis and it is also the name of this channel. I belong to the Isla Atlas Club. The club has its own website, islatlas.com. Any important information I will put in the description of the video. We start this video, but before we start what is this video itself, I wanted to explain you that this is the first video of this playlist called SimCity BuildIt Basic Tricks. I am Spanish, sorry for my English, and I'm sorry that the interface you see in the game is in Spanish, but I think you can understand it well enough. Every video will be a trick, and every video in this list, as basic as it may seem, is essential to advance with aplomb in the game. So it might as well be the list of must-have tricks. But well, it is simply a clarification of the importance of this section. So don't miss each and every one of the videos in this section, which I'm sure will surprise more than one of you, including this video. I want to thank Braavos, one of the co-founders of the Isla Atlas Club and one of the oldest members of the Isla Atlas Club, because this trick is thanks to him. Many of the tricks I know from members of the club. In many cases I won't name them, simply because I can't remember who told me each trick, and I hope that my fellow members will forgive my bad memory in this sense, which, knowing how they are, I'm sure they will. Kind regards to all of them, but in this case I do remember, so a hug, Braavos. This is my first city, Atlantis, and I'm going to explain this trick with it. You may ask, but do you have more cities? Yes, I have 6 in total. But for this trick, I will use Atlantis. With other tricks, I will show you different cities depending on the trick. So, what is the way to get a lot of Simoleons? The coins in SimCity are the Simoleons, and with this type of money you can do almost everything in SimCity BuildIt, so it is extremely important to have as many coins as possible. As you can see here in Atlantis, I have quite a lot of coins, over 3 million, but in my other cities I also have not so many, but also quite a lot. In Antis 1.5 million, in Tis 3 million, and in the other similar, I always have a lot of coins. But I have had up to 8 million simoleons in Atlantis without much effort. How did I get them? Well, the trick is in the factories. Important. People tend to think that money in SimCity comes from commercial buildings, that if you make a lot of nails or a lot of burgers, you will get a lot of money, and they are completely wrong. The way to get coins is that the factories are always at full production capacity. In factories you can make metal, wood, plastic, seeds, mineral, chemicals, textiles, sugar and spices, glass, animal feed and chips. Which of these products is the most profitable? Metal. Which is the least profitable? Chips. It doesn't mean that chips are bad. It simply means that metal is the one that gets the highest return. Let me explain myself with the Isla Atlas Club website, because there are the graphs of why and how much is achieved on average with each product of the factories. But first, I wanted to clarify that all the products from the commercial buildings, the ones produced by the commercial buildings, have a much worse performance, as they need even more time, and in proportion we cannot compare any product from a commercial building with the raw materials from the factories for the purpose of getting coins. That doesn't mean that if you have a surplus of a product, don't sell it. Sell it, of course, and earn some extra coins. Let's look at the graph. Look, first of all, I'm on the Isla Atlas website, on the How to Get Coins Easily web trick. Please allow me to zoom in to the graph so that you can see the data. On the left is the data, on the right is the graph. It is a bar chart, and each color indicates a column of data. The first column shows the raw materials: metal, wood, plastic, seeds, minerals, and so on up to chips. The column to the right of this, the second column, shows the time it takes for a product to be made in minutes. For example, metal takes 1 minute, wood takes 3 minutes, and so on. Chips take 7 hours to produce, converted to minutes, 420 minutes. The third column indicates the coins that we would be able to get with a factory if we sold that product to the maximum in the market. I am talking about a generic factory with 5 slots. There are factories that can have 6 slots, there are those with fewer slots, but this table is referential, generic, and indicates, as I said, one of the most common factories. If you look at it, in the case of metal, it would be 50 simoleons, 100 for wood, 125 for plastic, up to 800 for chips. Well, the fourth column indicates the simoleons that a factory makes every 24 hours. A single factory making metal for 24 hours in a row ideally, and once sold on the global trade, would be able to generate 72,000 coins. As we go down, then wood 48,000, plastic 20,000, until we reach the chips that would give 2743 simoleons. Finally, the fifth column indicates the money in simoleons that your city would ideally produce if you had 12 factories, which is the maximum that can be built at the moment in SimCity BuildIt. If you have 10 factories, it will be a little bit less, but not to make the graph too complicated, it indicates a generic case in which a city has 12 factories, which, as I said, is the current maximum. Well, take a good look at the data. Let's go with metal. Metal would yield 864,000 coins every 24 hours if we spent 24 hours continuously and ideally making metal and selling it during that time. That's an outrageous amount. We're talking about 900,000 simoleons. I will explain the buts shortly. Keep that in mind, because what it is reflecting is simply the diminishing returns of the products. Note also that wood 576,000 simoleons would be able to offer us, if we sell it at the maximum, 240,000 for plastic and so on. The data in this column is what you see in the green bars in the graph on the right. And you have a lot of peculiarities. Look at the exponential curve. When we get closer to the chips, you can see that the curve flattens out, and there is not so much difference in what is achieved between, for example, feed and chips. But look very carefully at two very important aspects of the graph. The first is the small flattening that occurs here, with seeds and minerals. But even more important, look closely at the total flattening here, which pertains to chemicals and textiles. It doesn't matter what you produce, whether chemicals or textiles. After 24 hours, you get exactly the same thing. Why does this happen? Because chemicals, although they take less time to produce, 2 hours 120 minutes, a complete factory would sell them for 300, and in 24 hours would yield 3,600 coins. However, textiles, although they take longer to produce, 3 hours 108 minutes, you earn more from them. So in the end, in those 24 hours, you would also get 3,600 coins. So it doesn't matter what you produce, whether chemicals or textiles, both will give you the same. So apart from these particularities, let's take the standpoint. I mean, with metal, you earn a lot every 24 hours. And as you get closer to the chips, you earn less, and exponentially. You see, we agreed that with metal we make more than 800,000 coins. But here comes the but. I don't think anyone can be continuously making and selling metal every minute for 24 hours straight. I've tried it for a few minutes and it's hell. It's impossible. You literally do not have time to sell while picking, and you don't sell fast enough either, as the trade depot gets saturated very quickly and you're already locked out of storage and you start not being able to pick every minute, etc., etc. Well, what if we do it with wood, which is the next best performing product after metal, as it is produced every 3 minutes? Well, the same thing I have also tried, and earning more than 500,000 coins in a day, which is the theoretical value that would be achieved with wood, is a utopia. And doing this task for 24 hours without a break, impossible. So you may ask, where's the trick? The trick consists in making this compatible with your life until you reach a point where you don't need to earn coins continuously. Let me explain. It is very easy. Let's keep in mind that we will always earn more with factories than with commercial buildings. Forgive me for repeating myself. And let's keep in mind that we always earn more the more things we sell close to metal, and that we will earn less as we sell things closer to chips. And now I will give you some examples. Imagine in our life that we get up and go to work for 4 hours. Well, before you go to work, start making glass. All the factories make glass, which takes just that 4 hours to make. When you come back from work, take it all and sell it at the global trade. Now you go out for lunch, let's say it takes, 2 hours. Just an example. Then you put chemicals, which takes just 2 hours to make. When you come back, pick everything up and sell it. You're going to sleep, put chips in before you go to bed. When you wake up, pick everything up and sell it. This is the way to do it. And this is the trick. How much are we going to make on this approximately? Remember to like and hit the little bell to subscribe and be notified when I upload a new video. Well look, I have 12 factories in Atlantis. Imagine that I put 3 times in a day to sell chips, which is the least profitable thing to do. 12 factories times 5 chips each one is 60 chips, and that times 3, that will be the times that I sell in a day. I get 180 chips. Each chip I am going to sell at the maximum price on the global trade, that is 160 simoleons each times 180, will give me 28,800 coins per day, 28,800 simoleons. Note that this is the worst case situation, and yet I am collecting more with the chips than with the taxes of the city hall, which in the case of the city of Atlantis is around 25,000. If you have 10 factories, you will collect 24,000 simoleons a day. But, I insist, this is the worst case situation. If you do, as the example, if you are going to do some task in your life, you put to manufacture what lasts the time that you are out of the game, you maximize the benefit, and instead of 28,800, maybe you get 30 or 35,000 simoleons. Of course, now with this trick, you will at least double what you normally get. I assure you that in a week you will notice a lot of difference, but in a month you will already have a lot of simoleons. As I said before, there comes a time when you may not need to do it, or you may not need to do it so often, and maybe just putting the chips in at night will be enough. But initially do it as I say. Normally there is a breaking point where you win more than you spend, for different and very varied reasons, which I can't explain in this video so as not to make it longer. But I assure you that it is like that. Try this method. You will gain the most important resource in SimCity BuildIt, and you will grow in every way with your city. I hope you liked the trick. I leave you with a design challenge from one of you. You can send yours so I can put it in a video of the channel. The instructions are in the description of the video. See you at SCBI. Greetings to all.